flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll.
Alderman Tobin.
Here.
Alderman Jean-Francois.
Here.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderwoman Ray.
Here.
Alderman Kleiner.
Here.
Alderman Green.
Here.
Alderman Witt.
Here.
Alderman Massey. President Rodriguez.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Correspondence.
We have a letter from Norman Kleiner requesting a zoning review.
Forward to committee.
Thank you.
Remarks of Alderman. Alderman Tobin.
Nothing this evening.
Alderman Francois.
Nothing this evening.
Alderman Johnson.
Thank you very much. I do have something this evening. So, I'm mostly speaking to the residents of the Third Ward, but the city as well. 2 pour 1 est 1 pour 2. Alexander Dumas, 1844, Three Musketeers. Who would have thought that 7 years of French would come in handy one day? Translation, all for one, one for all. My remarks are to the residents. If you have followed these meetings for the last 2 months, you are aware of the phenomenon, which I affectionately call the Gaza Gang. If you watched the last meeting, you would know that the Gaza Gang really degenerated into the 3 Ds. What are they? I'm glad you asked. Disgruntled, disrespectful, and disruptive. So much so that the president had to clear the room. I have been to and I have run many public meetings in the last 30 years. I have never been in a place where the room had to be cleared because of the behavior of the people who were attending the meeting. So here's what I have to say about that. When you attack one of us, you attack all of us. When you attack one of our families, you attack all of our families. And when you attack one of our children, you have attacked all of our children. You need to stand down. So anyway, moving right along. You know, the Gaza Gang, they fled in here like they've invented social dissidence, civil unrest. But, you know, Alderman Kleiner, you and I lived it. So let's go back in history. And it'll only take an hour or so don't worry. So I graduated high school in 1971. That's correct. I'll be 72 this year. So in 1959, SDS arose, Students for Democratic Society. I'm looking, for you guys, it's really a history lesson. This is not good. Anyway, so 1959 they started, and they actually flourished throughout the 60s. What was the fodder to flourish? Vietnam War, civil rights. They did quite a bit as they initiated themselves, and they stood for social activism, political dissidence. Now, the Gaza Gang has really evolved into this confrontational, adversarial relationship with this council. But I would like them to take a broader view of the picture and the landscape. I grew up in the 60s. I grew up with social dissidence. I think social dissidence is an important part of our culture. It raises our consciousness. It raises our awareness. I totally agree with the concept. The methodology, maybe not so much. So that's something I looked at when I was growing up. Students for Democratic Society, no more war, no more this, no more that, raised fist. I wouldn't say they were militant, but certainly they were conspicuous in their efforts. So they went along doing their work. The 60s were, to say nonetheless, tumultuous. I entered Cornell University in 1971 as an incoming freshman. 2 years prior to that, Ithaca was on the map when black students took over the student union, Willard Straight Hall, and occupied it with guns. There was no violence, but they occupied that building for a day to raise social consciousness about civil rights issues. When I was in high school, I wore a black armband. to protest the Vietnam War. Did I really understand Sino-Asian culture and the dynamics of the situation like my Uncle Lyndon did? No, just kidding, he wasn't my uncle. Probably not. But you know what? I was an activist of sorts. And you know what we know about the hallmark of an activist? You think you're right. And sometimes you think you're really right. Does that sound familiar? Okay, so what happened in the 60s? Well, some people actually enlisted. Some people went to Canada, draft dodgers. Some people filed for CO, conscientious objector status. There were lots of ways that people approached it. The decade did not end that well. The Weathermen, Kent State, not a good look. Not a good look. And the 60s and the 70s were really where SDS activated themselves. So was this a common picture in the 60s? Absolutely. So it appears that the Gaza Gang has 100 followers, a lot more than 100 sitting in that space. But that's what students thought was right. That's what they thought they should do. They should protest the war, unjust war, not appropriate, rampant throughout. But you know what? It turned out, unfortunately, as we all know, it was a senseless war. There were no winners. The veterans who made it home paid a bigger price than any of us have paid ever since for their participation. And some of them ended up there by lottery. I lucked out. My number was 151. They drafted up to number 100 that year. Otherwise, my life might have been extremely different. But it turns out, many may not realize this, SDS kind of reconstituted itself in 2006. And there's a photograph, current. Oh, do those signs look familiar to you? Same signs we've kind of seen every 2 weeks for months. Same idea, same principle, slightly different execution of the concept. So now let's move forward to 1982. 1982, Democratic Socialists of America. They changed the target. They didn't just identify students. They wanted to broaden the umbrella. If you go on Wikipedia, you'll find out they're based in New York City. They have 90,000 participants. Wikipedia will call them a left-wing socialist group. Is that good or bad? No, it's just a designation. Was SDS a left-wing socialist group? Sure, that's what they did. They thought they were right. So Michael Harrington started this group in 1982, and here we are today. The Gaza Gang, according to the mayor and others who've thought about it, they operate under the umbrella of the Democratic Socialists of America. Sometimes they push back that they don't. I'm not sure why. It should be a badge of honor, not something you want to dissociate yourself with, unless you think you should. I don't know. I'm not a member. So let's look at the behavior of the Gaza Gang here in Middletown, New York. So I hope you already know I made it. I made it all the way. I hope you don't feel I'm trying to steal your thunder, but I made it to the top of the heap. I made it to the most concentrated upon aldermen in the city of Middletown. Now, that's both pathetic and awesome to me. I'm Gemini. I can do both things at the same time. It's pathetic because of the 345 million people that live in this country. I got to be the sole concentration point for these people for a week. What Alderman Johnson thinks and says, out of 340 million people, I'm the guy. That's really awesome. Why is it awesome? Well, it tells me I have a lot more clout than I ever thought I had with the Gaza Gang. It tells me that they were listening. How do I know they were listening? Look at the back. I'm on the back with attribution. Now, if I were doing the T-shirt, I would have put the back on the front and the front on the back. But that's okay. And if anybody from the Gaza Group is listening, I would like to put in an order for 12 large-size black shirts. If you'll deliver them to City Hall, give me an invoice and an address, I'll pay the bill. I'll probably reorder. 6 of them are already spoken for. So there's another reason I'm honored to be in this T-shirt. I'm an armchair psychologist. I know it struck a chord. You don't get that reaction if you didn't strike a chord. So, and also, you know, I like squirrels. I'm a vet. Sometimes we have little baby squirrels that come in. They've been knocked out of the nest, and we bottle feed them and set them loose. But that doesn't mean they belong in the bird feeder. So, the bottom line to the residents of the 3rd Ward in the city of Middletown, for me, I'm a guy of the 60s. I believe in social dissidence. I believe in the concept. I tried to believe in the concept for the Gaza Gang for the first week or two. I'm a guy who said, I'll listen to you for 3 hours if you want to talk for 3 hours. But then somehow, the leadership, who obviously appeared to be young and inexperienced, made the whole group take a left turn. And now all of a sudden, we became disgruntled, disruptive, and disrespectful. Now, the group still thinks they're making progress. But as this has gone on and on for 2 months, more and more people in the city of Middletown who we represent are upset. And they're actually creating more animosity than creating persuasion for their concept. Don't forget, I think the concept was good. But the way that it was represented and the way that it's gone on is just gone beyond the pale. Because when you empty the room, you're one step away from civil disobedience. We don't want that in Middletown, New York. So let's look at the big picture. Here they are, they're going to come back, or maybe they're not. Me, this is my swan song. You don't have to clap. I think they've taken up much more time and energy at this point than is warranted. I think they have a good idea. I think they should seek a new implementation. Me personally, I'm going to move on and carry on. I think it would behoove them to do the same. And let's look at the even bigger picture of the change in the landscape of this country and its politics. We wanted to ask President Biden not to send money to Israel. Okay, now we want to ask, what's the other guy's name? Oh, we want to ask him not to send money to Israel. Sorry to say, left-wing socialists are not really going to have a seat at the table for a while. And I know you missed my vocabulary lessons, so I want to give you one more. Capitulate. Cease to resist an opponent or an unwelcome demand. Well, that really won't be happening with this group. I hope you got all that. Nobody's taping. I hope you got all that on YouTube or something. And as I close, c'est tout, monsieur. Merci bien. Translation, thank you, sir. Much thanks.
Okay, Alderman Ray.
Good evening. As second only to Alderman Johnson in terms of being targeted as the figurehead for issues with this group, I will be taking this as my last statement to this group that has been hijacking our meetings. I listened respectfully for 2 months of meetings. I also listened during those 2 months to this group ask to be given respect, all while shouting down anyone who said something they disagreed with. Their behavior has been reprehensible in the 4 months since. In spite of that, on October 15th, this council passed a resolution in support of peace in the region and release of hostages. That is the only resolution that is coming out of this council on this matter. It has been repeatedly expressed to this group. Instead, you continue to return to take over the meetings and use our televised meetings for your own purposes, and the behavior continued to degrade. On November 19th, a woman was shouting over another speaker once again and completely out of order. I turned and said, "You had your turn to speak," to which she told me to shut up and then quietly added, "racist," before all comment was shut down for the evening. On December 3rd, 3 of my 4 children attended this meeting as they were beyond upset that someone would call their mother a racist. Once again at this meeting, the group is shouting over other speakers, and when my 16-year-old daughter turned to the woman behind her and asked her to be respectful, this member of the group told her to shut the F up. And excuse my French, but they used the whole word with my 16-year-old child. On December 17th, all 4 of my children attended this meeting. That night, my eldest child got up and quite calmly and clearly told this group that while this is a horrific humanitarian issue, that this is not the forum for this conversation. And then once again that evening, as this group was completely out of order after having had their chance to speak and having shouted over the mayor and shouting over myself, one member of this group told my 10-year-old daughter, "If that was my mother, I'd kill myself." A child. This is about the time the group was removed from our building last time. To be fair, I received an email in the interim from a group leader apologizing for this, but I'm sorry. You people have rallied to this room week after week. You're responsible for this. You're responsible for the people you hand your flyers to and give them instructions on how to come to the podium. You're responsible for the way that you behave in this room as a group. Then this group went ahead and took my daughter's picture, posted her online with some more misinformation, which is apparently this group's favorite form of communication, and tried to make a spectacle of her publicly on social media. You also took photos of myself, other members of this body, and that's fine. You posted that I'm opposed to a ceasefire, patently false, and I voted in support of our resolution, which again will be the only one you get. We are not a forum for foreign policy. But at this point, I don't even think this group knows what's true anymore. So firstly, let me be clear. If you want to come for someone's children, you picked the wrong family. If you were from Middletown, you'd actually know that. But you're not. You know that you're out here smearing on social media the children that you were talking about, the people you speak on. Me, my children, we're active members of this community, and we volunteer our time and our energy to the sports, activities, and on all the programming we do for youth in the city and our fellow constituents. And that young lady who stood here at this podium that you tried to smear online, she's doing the work to have a life of purpose that will change this world for the better. And I can guarantee you that. So you can just go ahead, write that name down for yourself, and follow it. Secondly, and I will say this for the last time, this group has lost all its credibility. All of it. You lost it months ago, spreading misinformation to suit your purpose. You're out here claiming, oh, we just want a ceasefire. No, you're looking for the exact wording of your DSA resolution that has been presented repeatedly. And you've been giving your answer repeatedly, but yet you return because these cameras are still on. You ask to be heard respectfully, but yet you shout down anyone who comes up with a differing opinion from yours. And you target and you bully children. Children. There's not a lower place to go from there, in case you're wondering. And yet here you are in T-shirts now to target Alderman Johnson. Because you're no longer a group with a humanitarian mission. You're just here to come to war with the council every week. It's just fun. You're all smirking when other people talk. I can see the room. You've made a complete mockery of yourselves with your own behavior in these chambers over the last few months, and I am finished hearing it. You've come for me, my colleagues, and now my children. I'm not going to entertain this. This is a mob. This is not an activist group. I owe my time and attention to the people of Middletown, and they are as through with this group as I am. And for the people that do live here, we have an amazing city, and every week we could be reporting to you all the fantastic things that are happening here. But for months, we have been unable to do that, unable to celebrate our accomplishments, our wins, our victories with the people of this city because people from outside this city have come in to change the tone. And I myself am finished. Thank you.
Alderman Kleiner.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson, I do carry my draft card, and I'm still an A, so not likely, but I would say yesterday was January 6th. Orange County never condemned it, and you know that was not a riot. That was a planned attack to try and interfere with the peaceful transfer of power. That's my national comment right now. So the warming station, thank God it's been open, because it's been miserably cold, and tonight's no exception. We are, by the way, because of the weather, going to cancel our January constituents meeting. Not going to ask people to come out here at 7 o'clock at night. And, we just don't know the forecast for snow on Saturday, but we'll see. But we're just going to cancel January, and then we'll see how the weather goes in February. The warming station is going to do 2 more training dates, and that's be Monday, January 13th, and Thursday, January 22nd. That's at 7 p.m. at the warming station on 10 Mulberry Street. So if you have 2 hours to volunteer, or if you think you could do an overnight volunteer, it's been pretty good this year with volunteers, but there have been a couple where people have had to cancel everything they signed up for, so they really could use the help. I want to thank DPW, Jacob. I want to thank the Water Department. They've been out there on some of these miserable days and nights fixing water main breaks, and we're going to have them with our old underground infrastructure that we're gradually replacing, but it's not taken for granted when they're out there doing that work. And sanitation crew, same thing, when it's this cold and blowing, and they get it done. I want to congratulate the police chief. That graffiti in Middletown, it's just, look at me, I'm so important, look at me. And they have a suspect, and we hope that puts an end to it, and we hope they throw the book at him, but it is disgraceful, and it's just simply destructive. It's not artistic. It's just, look at me, and it should not be tolerated. So thank you, Chief. News 12 reported that there was a shooting, and we're upset when there's a shooting and shots fired anywhere in the area, and neighbors get upset. But they reported a shooting in a Middletown complex, in a Middletown housing group. It's on Route 6. It's in Wayanda. But because they have a Middletown mailing address, the reporter thinks that that means it's in Middletown. And there's so many places that the post office uses Middletown mailing addresses and different zip codes. So, you can be like almost 20 miles away from Middletown, and you can have a Middletown mailing address. That doesn't mean you report it as in Middletown. If it's in the town of Walk Hill, you say the town of Walk Hill. And you don't say Walk Hill, because Walk Hill is a hamlet in Sullivan County. It's just over the line. So it's your responsibility as a reporter to make that clear, which boundary you are in. So we have, every municipality has its own issues, but to use one little 5 square mile area as designating half of Orange County, it's irresponsible, and it should discontinue. That's really, I think our rules of conduct here for the council are long overdue, and we hope they will work. I'm going to support them. And our next meeting will be the day after the inauguration, and that is an inauguration. It's not a coronation. And we're not out to invade other countries and take over the whole hemisphere. So we hope not. That's Putin's style, but that's not America's style. And at least as Don Johnson says, we hope those days are behind us, but we shall see. So, also, Martin Luther King Day will be coming up before our next meeting, so I wish everyone a really meaningful holiday, and we'll see you then. Thank you.
Alderman Green.
Thank you very much. First off, I want to congratulate our newly sworn-in Assemblywoman for the 100th Assembly District, Ms. Paula Kay. We certainly look forward to many years working alongside you and all the assistance and great things you'll bring to the city of Middletown for sure. We know Aileen Gunther has left us a lasting legacy and has left her mark on the city, and we can't be grateful enough for all the good things she did, and are just excited for all the great things to come. That being said, I unfortunately was ill for the last meeting. I did watch in solidarity and in being with you all, and really, what more can I say than the all for one and one for all? That would make a great T-shirt right there, Alderman Johnson. Just-
How many teachers?
all for one for all, but I could really feel the emotions from the audience, from my coworkers here, or my friends. We do look at each other and speak about each other's families and care about one another, just as we care about everyone in the city that we work with and do our constituent work for. One of the main themes I've heard over the last 2 months, couple meetings, more maybe than that, was how will we look at ourselves in the mirror? How will history look at us? I think every single person who sits in one of these seats here is pretty secure with how history is going to look at us. What I've done. I don't plan on making it to any history book if I'm so lucky to overtake Alderman Johnson someday as the pride of the city there. I will just say that, from volunteer work, from everything that we do for not only our constituents here, but for those in the county, in the state, and in our country, beyond simple resolutions, I'm talking about boots on the ground work that this people here do. I think we're pretty secure. And I think that we've done our listening. I will continue to sit and listen. I promise my constituents, no matter who you are, what side of the aisle you're from, I will sit and listen, and I will work, and I will fight for you. But what I have heard from about the third meeting was, what are you going to do about this? And we passed our resolution, and all I say is I will sit there and listen, but I will know deep down how history will look at me, and I just hope that others who come up to speak in the future and attend our meetings will think about what history in these recorded meetings will look at them upon. So, thank you very much.
Alderman Witt.
Thank you very much. Just a couple of things to celebrate the ringing of the new year. Happy New Year to everyone here and to our community. I hope it's a great one. I really appreciate the employees that we have who work for the city. You have the as Jerry mentioned, the DPW folks who are working hard in lousy weather. You have the police department that's taking care of business and keeping us safe, and in this particular instance, handling a really thoughtless nuisance of a situation. And I'm grateful for that, because that was something that people brought up to me about how horrible that was when they're driving around town and seeing that stuff. Is it the end of the world? No, but it's quality of life. And that's one of the things I think we all try to take a lot of pride in. I'd like to also just kind of take this time to thank all of our volunteer board and commission members who serve on different committees at different parts of our organization here. We have, some of them have been doing this for many, many, many years, and it's such a great way for them to contribute, and I just want to thank you for your service, for helping us be the city that we are. And finally, we have, it's been on social media, and I know it's on the website, the holiday garbage and recycling schedule. People tend to ask that of us as well. When do they put their garbage out? There is the next time everything gets delayed by a day is in 2 weeks. Martin Luther King Day is on Monday, so that pushes everything back. But I know that, I assume Rick and Rick's team had something out, or the mayor certainly could have been responsible as well, probably both of you, for having it on social media. And hopefully people can find that and share it and print it and put it on the fridge, because that's important. So thank you very much for your time, everybody.
Thank you. I just have one announcement. The Chinese New Year, New Middletown, on Saturday, January 25th, from 12 to 5, we'll be having some ceremonies, dragon and lions, classic dancing, music, kids' activity, tea and snacks, my favorite. And everyone is invited, and I have asked Phil for our next meeting, to come up for the good of the city and explain to us the Chinese New Year. New business.
Good evening. We have a resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt establishing Common Council standing committees and membership for 2025.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, seconded by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson adopting an investment policy for 2025.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Ray. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois. Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green adopting a fee schedule for 2025.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green, seconded by Alderman Tobin. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner adopting a procurement policy for 2025.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner, seconded by Alderman Ray. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Ray adopting a fund balance policy for 2025.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Ray, seconded by Alderman Witt. Any discussion? This didn't say Jacob's budget. It says fund balance budget, right?
All snow and
Turn it
ice.
off the microphones.
Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean-Francois appointing a 207A officer.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois, seconded by Alderman Tobin. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin accepting additional funding for the Golden Area Senior Transportation Program for 24-25.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, seconded by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Did I miss? It was Tobin, right? I'm sorry, Tobin.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was Tobin and Green.
Tobin and Green.
Yep.
Got it. Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt authorizing an approval of the 2025 contracts and requests for funding in relation to the Orange County Youth Bureau.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green authorizing a change in pay rates for part-time employees for the 2025 winter programs.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Abstain.
Alderman Witt abstains. President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner authorizing a transfer within the 2024 Recreation Department budget to cover the cost of a UV system.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner, seconded by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Ray authorizing a transfer within the 2024 Parks and Recreation Department budget.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Ray, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson authorizing the approval of the PERMA third-party administration service contract for 2025.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman John Francois. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean-Francois authorizing a public hearing on adding certain restrictions to granting first-floor waivers in the DMU zoning district.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin authorizing a transfer of funds to cover unanticipated litigation expenses in 2024.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin, seconded by Alderman John Francois. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt authorizing the acceptance of a donation from Sharon and Charles Shoemaker for clinic scholarships.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green authorizing the awarding of the bid to transport and dispose of sludge to TAM Enterprises.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner authorizing an amendment to city code as it pertains to parking fines.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner, seconded by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Alderman Kleiner.
Yeah, I just want to mention our code, I think, gives a limit of $25, and this is to, it doesn't say specifically, but to up it to a possible up to $100 fine. And I take it, we need the extra power.
Chief,
We
is
need
that,
the extra
is that correct,
funds.
Chief?
It's up to 100. The last change was in 1978, $25.
Yeah, so to encourage people, I think, for winter parking to move their cars, that this is needed. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Thank you. Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Ray adopting rules of decorum for city meetings.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Ray, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Discussion. Alderman Johnson.
Mr. Chair, would it be possible to read that document into the record at this time?
We will, but I would like to call our attorney up first, our corporation counsel, since he worked very hard on this on Saturday and Sunday.
I really don't have anything to say unless there's any questions.
Any questions from the council?
Speak for themselves. Obviously, I did quite a bit of legal research to make sure they conform with current court decisions, and which there are a lot of current court decisions on these issues. So I believe they do conform.
Okay. Anyone else?
Good job.
Can we read it?
Yes, sir. Be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Middletown hereby adopts the following rules of decorum for Common Council meetings and any other meeting body as deemed necessary by the chair or by majority vote of said body. Number 1, seating and movement. All attendees of meetings must remain seated for the duration of the meeting. Congregating along the walls or standing in the council chambers is prohibited. Doors and aisles must remain unobstructed at all times. If no seat is available in the chambers, attendees must remain in the hallway until a seat becomes available. Signs. No signs of any kind will be permitted in the council chamber nor inside City Hall. 3. Public comment concerning items on the agenda or directly connected to city business or affairs. Such public comment is permitted at the beginning of every council meeting upon the announcement of the same by the presiding officer. Each speaker must provide his or her name and address to the council. Each speaker is allowed to speak for 3 minutes only. The speaker must remain at the podium. Number 4, public comment not concerning items on the agenda or directly connected to city business or affairs. Such public comment is permitted at the end of the first council meeting each month upon the announcement of the same by the presiding officer. Such public comment is not permitted at any other council meeting. Such public comment is limited to 30 minutes per meeting. Each speaker must provide his or her name and address to the council. Each speaker is allowed to speak for 3 minutes only. The speaker must remain at the podium. Number 5, disruptive behavior. No speaker may use obscenities or issue threats that are not protected by the First Amendment. No attendee may interrupt a speaker or member of the council. No speaker nor attendee may engage in any loud or disorderly behavior that disrupts the proceedings of the council. Number 6, presiding officer authority. The presiding officer has the authority to enforce these rules and to warn violators. Such warning should include informing the violator that if the violation persists, the violator may be removed from the meeting. If, after being warned, a person persists in the violation, the presiding officer may request the Middletown Police to remove such person from the meeting. Upon such a request, the Middletown Police may request such person to leave. If the violator refuses this request, the police have the authority to forcibly remove such person from the meeting. D, the police have the authority and the discretion to simply remove such person or to arrest the person based upon violation of city code or New York penal law.
Okay. Anyone else have any comments? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean-Francois authorizing an agreement with Pamela Welch.
Resolution sponsored by John Francois, Alderman Ray, seconded. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin authorizing an agreement with Kingsman Holdings LLC to purchase 11-15 King Street.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin, seconded by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll. Oh, wait, hold on. Alderman Kleiner?
Yeah, I know this is a change of our agreement. Do we have any explanation on what happened here?
It's just a name, right?
Yes, this is 1115 King Street, and what's happened is we've had ongoing negotiations regarding this property. The only thing that's changed is the entity that's taking control. Many of the same people are still involved, but the provisions of the contract and the note and the mortgage that are going to govern the rehab and renovation of the building are all the same, that the council has already approved.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Abstain.
Motion carries. That is it for new business.
Audit.
Mr. President, I move the accounts be audited, the claims be adjusted, and the city treasurer be authorized to issue warrants for this payment.
All right, resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Green. Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries.
Move for adjournment.